again in the Loop Live studio up here at Mammoth Film Festival in Mammoth Lakes, California. I'm sitting down with the crew from Tracing the Divide. Can you guys introduce yourselves for me? There's too many people here for me to do.
Sure. I'm Chris Hiebert. I'm one of the cyclists in the movie.
There you go. Yeah, pass that thing around.
My name is Jack Zakrajsek, director of Tracing the Divide and a filmmaker based out of Colorado.
There you go.
That's how you pronounce your last name.
Other Chris.
I'm another Chris Schmidt, ultra talent in the movie.
My name is Michael Schilf. I'm the producer and co-founder of Lunar Door, and Chase is the other co-founder.
Yep, what he said. I'm Chase Kuker. I'm one of the co-founders of Lunar Door and one of the producers on Tracing the Divide.
Hey man, tell us about the movie. Yeah.
So this movie, a documentary about these two cyclists who kind of ride from the border of Canada to Mexico across this famous route called the Tour Divide route. And they had reached out to me a couple of years ago and said, hey, we're going to ride down the Tour Divide route. Would you be interested in capturing our journey across this ride? And was some, unsure if I was going to do it or not. And after a while and thinking about it, I was like, I really would like to give this a go. Mm-hmm. And these two were crazy enough to bring me into their world of their journey. I mean, they had planned on this for quite a while and lived out of the back of a Toyota Tacoma for 24 days and
Wow.
filmed their journey across this route.
24 days.
Yeah.
So I'm from Seattle originally. I live in LA now. So I've done the drive a bunch of times up and down I-5. It only takes me 19 hours, so I don't know what's wrong with you guys. But 24 days out there, I mean, that's a haul. So you guys called him to document it, but what made you guys want to do it originally?
I'll start with you.
It was his idea.
Quite honestly, I was sitting in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and a friend of mine showed me the Tour Divide race. It's a race held on the Great Divide mountain bike route every year. And I saw it, and I said, I'm going to do that. And it was as simple as that. And then I just called him or sent it to you via text and said, hey, check this out. And then...
So I see this text. I'm sitting in my kitchen, and I looked at the route, and it's 2,700 miles long, and I just thought, no way. I'm thinking, I like the idea. How can I break that up? How many years? If we broke it into multiple pieces, would it take to do this? And I'm thinking maybe 2 years, 3 years. And then I kind of just dismissed it. But by the next week, I have access to like maps and things at work, and I was just diving into maps, and I couldn't get that route out of my head. I just started, and so then we started scheming at that point.
What's the longest ride you guys had done before that?
Before we made the decision to go, we probably
100 miles.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
100 is the longest ride we'd ever done.
Wow, so this is considerably longer.
Yeah.
So you figured you'd call someone to get him to shoot it and make a movie out of it.
That's
That's what I would do.
That's what this guy does, is he always ups the ante.
You might as well get someone to record it and show it to the world. I mean, so that's where you come in. So these guys call you, and then, I mean, you said at first you were a little maybe trepidatious, but once you got involved and got it going, I mean, what was the idea for how to capture it?
Yeah, so I mean, just a little background info too. Chris was my old cycling coach, so I had race bikes at an elite level and was, had left that cycling world to pursue film. Mm-hmm. And so I knew Chris that way, and he reached out to me, and I was at the time kind of navigating kind of in the media world what I really, really love. And I've never done documentary up until that point. And so I knew, well, it's not just filming a doc, it's going to be, you're doing this route with them,
right.
in a vehicle, but you're also going to have to film. No one was going to be crazy enough to do this thing with me. So it was just kind of going to be an undertaking that I had to understand. Okay, well, a million things can go wrong, but sometimes that makes the best products, and I really believed that at the beginning, and just kind of decided, where I'm at in life, and when I was like, I really want to give this a go, and I just, I know these guys have personalities, and I knew that a journey of that magnitude was going to bring out their personalities, and you can't do a route like that without conflicts, and it's just a normal journey. Like, it emulates life in so many ways. And so I knew no matter what happens, it's going to be a fantastic story. So I just knew it wasn't as big of a gamble as I probably thought it was going to be.
I mean, you're there documenting their ride. I almost want someone there documenting you, documenting them on this whole thing. I mean, because it must have been just quite an adventure for you as well.
Yeah, I would say it was like, also I had my own journey, you know, and my journey or side of things necessarily wasn't captured, but I had just as much of almost an enlightenment as they did on their route, and I got to be enlightened by watching their journey.
Yeah.
You know, watching them struggle through the things that everyone will see in the film.
Yeah.
And so I look back and I'm like, I'm so grateful that I learned a lot about myself as well on this journey.
Well, but 24 days of the journey, right? But how many hours of footage do you end up
Oh
with
man,
that
everyone,
film?
I just never, I don't actually don't know. I just,
It's about
I was gonna say,
300
here's where
hours
the
of
producer
footage.
comes
yeah, it is.
All right. How was it? How much? What did he say?
I think he
About
said
300 hours of
Oh
footage.
my goodness.
There you
So
go.
the film is 82 minutes long, so you can imagine.
Wow.
It's difficult to. Jack's right. I mean, there was a tremendous narrative within the film that is. I like to say two things I want to say real quick. Jack started this at 20 years old, and that I think is amazing because he had the greatest thing is to overcome fear, and he had the courage to jump into something that was way over his head, and he didn't even really know how to do.
Right.
And he found his purpose as a filmmaker doing it. And I think the entire project can be summed up in one word, which is purpose. These two, in their mid to late 40s, instead of deciding to have a midlife crisis, they decided to have a midlife purpose.
Sure.
And they did
That's
that
cool.
by doing this ride. And so, and then when we came in as a company, we also found purpose.
Well, that's
So-
what I was going to ask. When did you guys come in? I mean, Jack shot this thing. He's got 300 hours. These guys did the adventure. Do you guys come in after that?
Yes.
Did you already saw it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then once you guys get involved, what happens from there?
Is it okay if I answer?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for
So basically, they kind of just thought that this thing would be nice to show their grandkids. I mean, right? Essentially.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Okay.
And so then
Glorified
they
home
thought-
movie.
without really knowing any better, they're like, he edited something, which is okay, and they threw it on YouTube. And how many hits did you get in like?
Yeah, I think it was probably 200,000
Wow.
by the time we had.
But how
that-
many days?
About 16.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I think it was less than that actually.
Yeah.
It was 10, wasn't it?
So they got a lot of reaction pretty quickly, and then Chris's wife Tammy contacted me and said, I think you should take a look at this. And she knows that I'm a filmmaker and we have a company, and I did. And I said, we need to have a meeting. And the first thing I said is take this thing off YouTube immediately.
Yeah.
Because I knew that there was a narrative in there. I also knew that what I was seeing, there was so much more that wasn't in it because I knew it was 24 days and I knew there would be hundreds of hours of footage. And then over the last 2 years, we've worked together and collaborated as a team to really find that narrative. What was originally in the YouTube video, which was almost 2 hours,
Yeah, I believe it was an hour 40.
an hour, 45 minutes.
I've heard everything on YouTube is supposed to be 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Right,
well,
I know. We went against the grain big time on
Yeah.
that one.
So the final film, which is now 82 minutes, has only 20 minutes of the original
Oh, wow.
film that was in YouTube.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's kind of how we came in. So we came in as a production company, not really for the technical elements, because the footage was already shot. We came in to help with structuring narrative and to find the story that Jack wasn't able to really see.
Gotcha. Well, the world premiere is Sunday at the Minaret Cinemas up here in Mammoth, California at 8:30 p.m., right?
Correct.
I mean, what do you think the reaction is going to be, especially from the cycling and biking world and all of that for you guys?
I'd say our experience with the movie and what we've gotten feedback, I think you get messages a lot more than I do, because you're more connected to the bike packing world than I am. But we still get emails from people that saw the original. They're interested in seeing what's coming. I mean, it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot of feedback from the bike packing world, but the the story isn't just about a bike ride. So it's a good one. It's a really good story.
Cool.
I'd only add to that there's a lot of content out there, especially over the last couple of years, that's evolved on the Tour Divide race. A lot of people have put up their own videos riding this route, the Great Divide mountain bike route. But there's truly not anything out there of the scope and quality and story that I think a lot of people can relate to. You learn a lot about yourself doing hard things, and we all came away with something beautiful out of it. So I'm grateful to be able to share that, and I think the cycling community that rides a bike will absolutely get it, but it's much more than that.
Yeah, for you guys out there watching too, I mean, they're talking mountain bike trails, okay? They're not talking up and down I-5 like I was, right? I mean, yeah, it's a different kind of riding.
That 100 miles a day that I had done once, we did every day for 24 days.
With a lot more elevation each day.
Yeah.
Well, hey, the Loop Live is brought to you guys by Rack the Planet. I'm going to throw out one of these to each one of you guys because you guys need to help us rack the planet. Let's see how good my arm is. There's one back there. Your last one, producer, back there we go. You guys will open those up. There's cold hard cash in there. RAK stands for Random Acts of Kindness. They're powering the Loop Live. And you guys can either use that cash for yourselves or buy each other a beer or whatever you want to do. Or you can take it out there in the world and in the fest and pay it forward and let somebody else use it, whatever you want to do. But from our friends at Random Acts of Kindness to you, thanks for being here and congratulations on the film and everything, you guys. I think people are really going to love it and can't wait for everyone at the fest to see it, obviously. Cool. Hey, for Mammoth FF, I'm Brett, keeping you guys in the loop.